I just had my first tournament of the year and I did not golf well.
Okay, well, that was rough.
Today, I'm with Dr. Luke Benoit to go over what I need to do next. Do I need to change my golf swing? Do I need to change my strategy? And how am I going to succeed with the next time a tournament comes around? Let's get into it. All right, here we are, Interlochen Country Club. Honestly, this place is sick. We're here to see Luke. I need a golf lesson.
This lesson is broken up into 5 parts. Number 1, why your golf scores follow a pattern. Number 2, we're gonna figure out what's wrong with my swing. Number 3, the one swing thought that I can grab onto. And then next week, on our next episode, we're going to figure out how to pick a shot shape and learn how to take a new swing thought and take it to the golf course in a tournament.
Okay, so, Luke, we're here for the post-tournament lesson.
What did you shoot?
So we shot 79.
Okay.
I know last year I shot between 70 and 82 or something. I thought I'd gotten better.
You thought you'd gotten better.
I've had a bunch of swing thoughts lately.
Sure.
I can't decide what to do. When I look at it on video, it's like, I don't know what to change or if I need to change or like, am I on the right path to accomplish my goal? My goal is last year my average was 75, 76. I want to bring that down like 2 shots this year. Like,
Right.
How do I do that? So that's why we're here.
I love it. So let's dig in. I guess the first thing would be like, let's look at the probability of you shooting 79 as a 0.
I mean, the normal distribution bell curve, right?
Yeah,
like
let's do
we're
it.
gonna have, okay, let's.
Should we just get into the
whiteboard
science? Okay, so your average score you think is right around 75, 76.
Yep.
So if we say this is our, call it 75, what's your best score in the last 5 years?
67.
Got it. So we could go pretty low.
This is not a tournament
67.
score.
Okay.
We'll throw it in there anyways.
Okay. And then on the high side, what's your worst score?
Oh man, probably is 85.
Got it. You can see like it's about 10 on either side would be your bell curve. So a couple things is, we always talk about like what's the probability here of shooting a 79? It's probably around 20% or 30% you can shoot a 79.
Yep.
And what did you need to shoot to qualify?
I think it was like 2 under or 1 under, something like that.
Yeah. So you probably needed to have a pretty good day for you,
right.
But it was in the range of being able to pull it off.
It's just really frustrating when you're here though.
It is.
I know this is gonna happen.
Yes.
But like also it's like, I don't wanna be here, so how do I work towards that direction?
So I would say, first you analyze, are your tournament scores a completely different bell curve where this is how you shoot in tournaments?
Well, I've got good news. I don't play much golf, not in tournaments. So
Got it.
tournament
So
scores
this
is my bell curve.
So
right?
we can wipe this away and then we can start isolating the event and say, okay, did you just have a bad day striking it?
Yep.
Did you come out of bed and were you sore? Are there individual things? Did the greens get you a little bit? Was there a skill element there that was like particularly hard? You said you adjusted the driver.
Yeah, I made some mistakes, I'll admit. Yeah, I lost strokes gained off the tee because I hit 2 out of bounds and 1 in the water.
Yeah.
Double crosses. And then the approach was, I just didn't have a good, I want to come away today with you having like a good plan of committing to a shot shape and like committing to a swing thought.
Yeah.
Like that, and probably a lot of people relate to this, but like stuck in limbo. Like I know I should try to hit a shot.
Yeah.
I don't know which one I'm choosing. I don't know why. And then I don't know which swing feel. I'm just kind of like in the middle, in the gray zone right now, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people probably get stuck there. Like it's
totally.
It's common to be there.
So out on the golf course, do you see a different pattern with your golf ball? Because there's some people where, at home, it's kind of going like this, and then out there, it's going a different direction.
The ball starts going a little, it's going to go more left out on the course. There, versus like when I'm kind of just chilling out, it's mainly hitting fades. But then when you get under pressure, it starts either goes more straight or starts to draw that way.
Got it. So I think we're getting to the bottom of this. We're saying you probably should have something in your training that gives you a better ability to adjust when it starts going left.
Yeah.
And so one of my favorite little drills would be on the range every session. I would try to hit 5 or 10 minutes where you literally just move your bias pattern to the right so that you've got the skill to move the ball right.
Okay.
And you could do it as simply as aiming right on the golf course, or you could just be like, I'm going to control the face and miss right. But we know physiologically things change, ball flights change under pressure. It's a transfer problem, isn't it? Do you feel that way?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing. Can we look at some swings?
Yeah,
let's look at some swings. I want to share, like, these are things I'm thinking about. I need your feedback on it.
Okay, let's do it. Let's talk about, stock shot with like a 7-iron, and we'll talk the mechanics, because you felt like the miss pattern moved a little bit left.
Yep.
And do you feel like you mentioned you have a couple different swing thoughts.
Yes.
Let's go through those.
Okay. let's unpack this.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed is that in my backswing, my head is like going down. It goes down like this.
Yep.
So I'm curious if I'm not getting, I don't want to sway away, obviously, but like if I'm not like getting back and loaded enough. So do I need to be worried about this?
Sure.
Or is it fine?
Yep.
I'm also just trying to figure out like how close I need to stand to the ball.
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
Where do you think
like,
your strike location on the face has been?
It's been, I miss thin if I'm going to miss.
Got it.
And if I do that move where I'm trying to like load up more and keep my head more stable, I miss more thin.
Got it.
So I think I'm going down to try to make contact.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is I've always been steep.
Yep.
And so I'm really trying to do the push up and around thing so I can try to get more around.
Got it.
Which is very hard to do during tournaments.
Very
you
hard.
have to like, all right, I'm gonna hit this and I'm just gonna fire away.
Yeah.
But I think it helps me.
Okay.
That's
so
where
you've been
I'm
working on that. Yeah.
I love learning from Luke. He's got so many unique frameworks that honestly everyone golfers should know. So he's got a 7-step learning framework if you're changing your golf swing, which we're gonna link down below. You can download it totally free. And honestly, it's so interesting the realities of how we have been training golf swings and how we should be. So click that link down below, get that free PDF and start training smarter. All right, let's get back to the lesson.
So my thought, and we can look at the video a little bit. I mean, here's your stock 7-iron. Take away to you. How's that look?
That looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get to the top, and do you see a lot of head drop here?
There's a bit. I mean, my head's gone that way, right?
Right. So you're kind of getting your pressure out over your toe a little bit on the early side, but there's a lot of good players that do this. I don't think you're way off balance. And then I think you have a little bit of steepness right there.
Yeah.
And there's a bit of just underplane element here where you basically probably drop a little bit too much inside out and the handle just raises a touch.
Always had a high, steep, high handle.
So if we get into the kinematic sequence, like I'd probably say we should work on slowing your shoulders down a bit as you start down.
Okay.
And letting the club release and trying to get your handle low left a little bit better, which I know is your feel.
I would like to.
Right.
I think that would help.
We would love to get that exit a little more. I'd love to see you for a little while, like almost feel fades. What do you try to feel on the golf course?
I'm trying to hit fades.
Got it.
But they go straight.
Got it.
And so that's where I get myself in trouble, right? Missing greens left.
Yeah. So, I'm not a believer that you have to shape it one way or the other. I think 0 is fine.
Okay.
But I do think you are probably going to play better not being inside out, and the steepness particularly is a little bit challenging there to control the face.
Let's summarize. So I'm steep, high handle.
Yes.
That is going to cause me to...
It's going to flip harder.
Like you're saying that?
Yes.
Right. Which I do, because I go like this, and it's like a whole thing.
So there's a bit of a face closure. This is technical, but I would love to get you to release it earlier here.
Okay.
And I'd love to get your path a little bit more left. And I think if you do that and actually get the club out in front of you, then you'll have a much better chance to get your handle low left and feel like this at impact.
Yep.
Because I think right now there's just a little too much of this going on.
Okay. So in the speed series, with like Mark, Blackbird, John Sinclair, we're talking about I'm late with my vertical force.
Yes.
And so it's this, I put a lot into it, but it's always late. And this, it all goes together, right? Because you just said like I want you to get ahead of it. Yes. And that's because I keep holding on to it. So I'm like hitting drivers like that.
You have too much lean.
Yeah.
So I think we can do a couple drills to work on this. And then, kind of finding that mixed plan, because we identified it's not all technical, is it? Like, is the swing you have good enough to probably qualify?
Yeah.
If the other stuff's good and maybe you get a few practice rounds in.
Yeah.
Right?
That would be helpful.
So there's elements of the mental game, obviously, and then there's just the transfer skill. But
I need a good swing thought. I need like something I can latch onto. Like, I feel good about this. Because right now I don't feel good about either of those swing thoughts that I have. First thing, should I worry about this head dip, or you're just saying I'm probably going this way too much?
I think my priority would be more downswing than backswing.
You'd be more downswing
at this point. I feel like you should prioritize that. And I think like one of my favorite drills to get the vertical earlier, and I forget if you've done this one before, but like let's get into the lead toe earlier. And let's try to feel like we're on this lead toe with this heel in the air. And then from here, you push and then you throw. And you gotta throw over the top. And if it feels like you're getting really outside in, I'm not too worried about it yet. I'd rather have you just get rid of this late under move a little bit.
Okay.
And it should help you feel fade. So we're gonna get a little bit of a kind of a throw release with the arms right here.
Okay.
And then I want you to bury the handle close to your body. And
Okay.
a fun way to do this is with a closed stance, call
Okay.
it like a kickstand drill. So this foot is just for support.
Okay.
And you're gonna feel really closed, which is gonna make your shoulders feel slow.
Okay.
And you can use more vertical, and you can throw it with the club earlier. So it's like this. So I'm here, that.
Huh. Okay.
See this? So I'm trying to feel like I'm releasing it here, and then
Yeah.
my arms come back close to my body.
Okay.
So right here, up in front, that. So show me that on video
Got
without even a ball.
Okay. Let's try this. So we're going here.
Get that
We're gonna
heel
go-
in the air. There you go.
This one?
Yep, and that'll activate your lead toe.
Interesting. Okay.
I know, you're
I haven't
feeling
done this.
pretty strange, right?
I like this.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna go.
So what we're doing is we're forcing you to find ground force
Yeah.
in the only way possible to complete more vertical. Like this is the
Sure.
only way to do it.
Sure.
You can't really rotate your shoulders hard from here.
Right.
That make sense?
Right. Yes, I have to. I
You
have to do that.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay, so pushing off.
There you go. Good. So let me get a little video of that.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Nice, nice. So let's take a look at that. I mean, it's obviously just super different, right?
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of your technical plan to change the release.
Whoa.
See how the arms are
Yeah,
low
the
and tight?
handle dropped.
The handle dropped. And that's because you can't turn your shoulders because they're so closed.
Sure.
And then the vertical is earlier, so the club is releasing, and then the handle gets much lower.
Huh. That's a different pattern.
Pretty different pattern.
Yeah, and the club's going way over there.
Yeah, so it's releasing a little left. Now, you could argue it's still a little steep,
Sure.
but if you want to get a little deeper
Yeah.
and maybe get the arms, you know, a little bit more, here we'll do a little video record. If we wanted to get the arms a little bit lower,
Yeah.
we could get rid of that steepness. The main thing is releasing the club without turning the shoulders first.
Okay.
So you accelerate the vertical on the lead toe.
Yep.
You make the arms fire earlier. You don't need to feel fast shoulders.
Yep.
You just let that thing release low left.
Mm.
And the goal would be dynamic low angle. Like this angle we want to get lower, right? That's kind of what we're chasing.
Okay, this might feed into another question. I have really struggled to get my wedge launch angle down. I have a really hard time
Interesting.
doing that.
Okay.
And this feels like this has to relate to that because
Yeah.
I can't get it consistent
Yeah.
and low enough. And this feels like
Got it.
this has got to be related to
I mean, certainly whenever you get your arms close to your body, if you're coming through, I'll be a lefty for a second, but if my hands are close,
Yeah.
I'm conserving angular momentum.
Okay.
It's just like the ice skater, when we pull ourselves closer, we
Yeah.
have more shaft length.
Okay.
So you will hit it lower if your arms are closer to your body.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Ah.
And your divots won't be as toe deep. They're not going to dig as much. You know, remember we talked about that one time?
Yes, I got those I've got those toe deep divots
Yep.
down. All right, let me do this again.
Yep.
I like this. This is really good. Okay.
Nice.
Okay, so everyone's probably at home thinking like, okay, is my golf swing suddenly gonna change, and is this gonna be better, you know, at the next next tournament?
No, of course not. But look at that. Like it is shallower than you
Yeah.
would feel, and the handle is quite low.
Yeah, it's quite a bit lower.
Yeah.
Looks great.
It's a huge change of ground force, which would make the outcome of low handle much easier.
Okay.
So now we just go, okay, how do we train that? Because this is where, you know, I really believe you've got to do this, and I've got a technical plan,
Yeah.
which is, you know, use parallax, get some video rolling, compare it to what our model would be,
Yeah.
do it without a golf ball first, then we go to foam ball,
Yeah.
then we go to real ball. But could you use some of this on the golf course would be the question.
Yeah.
And especially if you're just trying to get the ball straighter and maybe not smash it really far, I
Yeah.
do think you could feel more lead side pivot.
Okay.
And so it would feel like you don't have to kind of go as far, but you're going to feel like you're more here and ready to go with the kickstand back earlier.
I've almost been feeling the opposite, like to be able to try to get this kind of pushing stuff. I've had to
Yep.
like open up and like get more open
Got it.
when I'm doing that.
Yeah.
That's almost opposite of
I
this.
think the trick is your hips need to be fast, but your shoulders don't need to turn that hard.
Okay.
You need to have the arms release the club.
Got it.
So even though the hips, and you don't need the hips to be that fast, they just need to set the brakes. You
Yeah.
know, it's all about
Yeah.
the brakes, because when the brakes start going here, then the arms can release the club and it comes back closer to your body.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. So now we've what I've done here is I've simplified a swing thought, right? Like,
Okay.
so the one swing thought to think about is this kind of like continue to that.
Yes.
Go here and
Yes.
boom through there.
And I think it's going to feel armsy. And I will say one thing, my opinion on speed training is everybody should probably speed train.
Yeah.
It's really good for your game, but you have to be careful about it.
Okay.
And I think one thing as you've gained speed is your dominant power source is some early rotation of your chest.
Okay.
And I think as you're doing speed, I would actually be pretty conscious about trying to feel the lead toe and the pressure in the vertical versus turning the shoulders early. So it's like throw the club, but use that break well. And you might not be as fast,
Yeah.
but you want to hit some fairways too.
So you think that probably some of the speed training has caused me just to get up here and just be like, just trying to
I think, yeah.
just like,
I think your shoulders are really quick.
sure.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I've always had that, like, there's a lot of pull that
Yeah.
happens in my golf swing
Yep.
of like with my upper body
Yep.
versus kind of like waiting for the lower body to
Yeah.
whip it kind of through. So I could see that the more I do that now, it's translating to the rest of the swing. Just
Yep. And you can hit some balls. Like this is
Yeah.
this is kind of a fun way to try this. Is like kind of do this kind of kickstand drill and get the arms. They'll feel like they're up in front of you.
Yeah.
And you can just feel that lead toe, and it'll feel like the arms are releasing a lot,
Okay.
and the chest is slow.
yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah. Let's make this practical for somebody. Like,
Yeah.
if they're looking for a swing thought and they're doing this, and then okay, I got to go play. My next tournament is in a couple weeks, so I've got a bit of time to like work. But like, is
Yeah.
this my pre-shot routine now? Is like before I'm hitting a shot? Am I wanting to come like, all right,
Yeah.
this is my, like I'm doing this kind of back behind the ball, and then I'm coming up and I'm trying to
Yeah.
retain that feel. Like,
Yeah,
is
and
that-
I would probably try to retain it in the most similar sort of stance you can to actually how you play.
Okay.
So your training will be expedited big time in the garage or at home by
Yeah.
feeling the drill, but then you've got to start transferring it in a practical setting to take
Yeah.
it the course. And the number one rule would be don't think so much you can't hit it solid. So if you feel like this is too much to hit it solid,
Okay.
then don't use it.
I think about like Alex
Yeah.
Noren or
Yeah.
Justin Rose. He's always done it, right? They
Yeah.
always do they always got their thing they do to try to get that feel. Like this,
Exactly.
is that, are you a fan of that? Or
I
no?
am.
Are you-
I am, and
okay.
it's amazing how often like players will hang on to those for a very long time, right? Now, in a perfect world, you eventually get to the point where you're not thinking very much
Yeah.
over the golf ball.
Yeah.
But it's almost like that's kind of like your scar tissue of your past. You
Sure.
have to keep working on.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. Okay, so we've looked at the golf swing. We got steep, handle up, a bit steep, and that's kind of always been my case. This is causing me to be a little inconsistent in because when you have, I guess to break it down, the full thing is like it's because I have to. There's so much closure happening.
Yeah.
And you like a more stable like club face through.
Yeah.
Right. That's
yeah.
the,
Don't
the
you?
gist of it.
I mean,
Yeah, I do too.
everybody's. I mean, all golf pros are really trying to do is achieve a better closure rate
Yeah.
and easier timing, aren't
Yes.
we? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Simple, easy release.
I think the other thing that I would question is then I was trying to play a fade most of the day. It didn't. I don't think it worked. I just hit them all straight.
Yeah.
So it didn't work out necessarily.
Sounds like a lot of, I mean, I played high school golf with a big sweeping draw, so I practice fades, then I go compete, and it's straight maybe.
Yeah.
So it's really normal.
Yeah.
But it is nice when it lines up with what you're seeing, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you probably need to overtrain. Like I'm a big fan of like a constraint-led approach to training, and like if we put a pole there and you got to curve it around every time, you will actually get that path going left.
Okay.
Right. So you
Yep.
force yourself, and I'll often set up a station here where if you fail, go do a practice swing.
Okay.
And you do it for every degree you're out inside out, go do a practice swing.
Okay.
Learn fast.
All right. I'm gonna hit a few with this feel. We've got a pitching wedge. So I mean, every time I do the feel,
Yeah.
Yep. that means I'm doing it right or no?
You're doing it, and
Okay.
what I would say is counterbalance this feel of getting your stepping out of it or pushing off your lead toe by keeping your chest low, particularly since you're thin. Your other cue should be buttons on the ball or eat the ball
okay.
while you're pushing off the lead toe. right?
Okay. Okay.
Otherwise,
makes sense.
It's going to be a lot of thin ones, isn't it?
Because I'm jumping up
Yeah.
and then standing up.
Yeah.
So then I'm missing the ground.
Yep.
Got it.
So just chest down.
Okay. It's easy.
That's
There
great.
you go.
How different does that feel? I mean, granted, it's a little jumpy, but you're trying to feel the force.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can actually feel the change, right?
Okay.
It took me a long time to figure out how to do this. To feel that.
Does that drill the kickstand make sense?
Yeah, it absolutely
There's
does.
only one way to do it from there.
Yeah.
because you can't really get a lot of linear, and it's hard to rotate your shoulders because you're so closed.
Yeah. Okay, let's. Yeah, I'm staying down a little
I think
bit.
you're actually cutting it too.
That's a cut,
little bit
yeah.
up, left to right, yeah.
But when I go to a tournament, it's probably not going to do that, right?
No, it's not.
Like,
And you have to just accept that it's not going to be quite the same.
yeah.
Unless you're a total, absolute, maniac, and you just don't care what you're going to shoot.
Right.
And sometimes, like, I'll go out and I'll play a state open with the new swing thoughts, and
Yeah.
I'm like, but I'm just learning.
Yeah.
I don't really care.
Yeah.
And actually, sometimes it works.
Sure.
Sometimes it doesn't.
Yep.
But
So it's like,
it's Russian roulette.
I'll train like this, and probably when I play, I'll have a feel, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like I'm going to go jump
Right,
and do
right.
all the stuff. So let's see if I can hit a normal one here.
I think the big thing I would give to most people would be like they're trying swing thoughts without actually vetting them very well.
Okay.
And kind of pressure testing them.
What do you mean by that?
You've got to go test that on the range, not just hitting 9-irons, but switching targets.
Sure.
And then you got to be able to like play with a buddy or go play by yourself, add some pressure.
Yeah.
If you can't kind of pressure test it, it's probably not going to work in a tournament.
Got it.
But
Got
there
it.
is a method to it.
Okay.
Transfer practice. There's a lot of science there.
So we learned a lot today. First of all, you probably need a coach, right? Like without a coach, it's hard to figure out what to work on. And having Luke there to walk me through, like, hey, you gotta remember that your scores fall on a distribution curve. I think that's critical info. We all need to remember that, even though it still feels crappy when it's a bad score. 2, help me analyze my swing. 3, we figured out what to focus on. Those are so good. And the next thing that we gotta figure out, and Luke's gonna help us with, is how do I figure out what shot shape I'm gonna hit and gonna take to the golf course? And the last thing is how to actually practice this drill and these changes in my golf swing so I make it with me in my next tournament. That's next week. Make sure to subscribe. See you then.